Well, Tim Maynard, our physio, some news from the treatment room today. Can you bring us up to date, please?
Yeah, so we can start with the positive news in that Paul Kalambayi is being signed off this week, so we should return to some sort of modified training on Thursday, which will be great for him and great for the group as well, as he's got such a great personality. He's worked tirelessly, worked really hard to get back in and worked very diligently on his rehab, which is great to see.
How difficult is it to get a player like that back? Because it's been a long road for him, hasn't it?
It's with someone like Paul, it's not overly challenging. It's quite enjoyable for me, which obviously isn't great when you're talking about someone else's injury. But he's only been 7 weeks since he did it, so since he had surgery, which is a really good turnaround for him in terms of rehabilitation from that injury. And it's the part of my role that I enjoy the most is the rehabilitation and pushing the players to get them back fitter, faster, stronger, and kind of combining that with Chris and all of his skills. So it's, from my end, it's really good. I really enjoy myself and push the players to kind of come back so that when they're back, they stay back, and Robbo can kind of have them for selection.
What was Paul's exact injury?
So Paul, he had a ligament in his ankle and had to have that reconstructed with surgery. So the specialist did that, and yeah, like I say, it's been 7 weeks and really done, worked well, worked hard. Pretty similar injury to Luke O'Neill, who was the same timeline as well, 7 weeks.
We've also heard today good news about Csoka, who was in a protective boot at Plough Lane on Saturday, but I'm hearing that it's positive for him and he could be back soon.
Yeah, so really positive with Dan. So we scanned him on Monday. So he took a really heavy knock just before Saturday, and that foot was really quite sore and painful when he stood on it, and we just needed to get a couple of things checked. Unfortunately, he came back, and yeah, the plan is to hopefully have him back into some sort of training on Thursday, which would be great.
And we've talked about the good news, but it is also bad news. Can you bring us up to date with the players who are out injured and what's wrong with them?
Yeah, so obviously there's some not so great news obviously with Callum. So Callum Reilly unfortunately sustained an ankle fracture in the game against Wigan, and he's been a bit of a trooper, and he's played on with that for a little bit, and which was impressive to say the least. But obviously he will now be out for the remainder of the season, and we'll look to kind of work with him, get him stronger, get him faster once we're allowed to after that. The boot comes off after 6 weeks.
And Darnell?
Yeah, so DJ picked up an ankle injury in the same Wigan game. So he's had a ligament injury very similar to Paul Kalambayi and Luke O'Neill, but he doesn't require surgery, so he will be conservatively managed. And he will look to be around the 6 week mark, so we should hopefully have him back for the end of the season.
And can you bring us up to date with Hussein Bila?
Yeah, Paul was training on Saturday morning and has sustained an MCL injury to his left knee, which the MCL is on the inside part of your knee, and it's one of the ligaments. So he's undergoing some more investigations today, and we'll know more after today as to how long that will be for him.
Anyone else? Corey Andrews? What about him?
So, yeah. Corey doing well after his abdominal strain, but sadly took a knock to the head on training on Friday and was concussed with it. So he's on the return to play protocol, but he should be training on Friday, which again he probably just needs a little bit more training under his belt before he's available for selection. But Chris and I and the gaffer will talk that through to kind of make sure that he's streamlined and back into things.
Just finally about yourself, you joined us after a spell out of the game. You had previously been at Fulham. What's your first season here been like?
Yeah, so it's been pretty bumpy with COVID and getting back into the swing of things. It's been fun. It's a lovely club, I must say, whereby everyone's been so welcoming, which has been amazing. And having to deal with the stresses and the kind of rigmarole of COVID, plus obviously we've had double game weeks for, well, it feels like since I started back in November, which has been fairly ruthless with the injuries and trying to keep the players fit and available for selection. But yeah, I'm loving being back, so it's good.
Great to hear from you, Tim. Thanks for joining us.
My pleasure, thank you.